Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my review of Living Room Matsunaga-san. This is by Keiko Iwashita. Uh, this is a Kodansha release. It's 11 volumes long, and it is finally finished. This is one that I've been collecting, I think, since like volume 2, maybe? Um, Maybe a little later than that. I might have jumped on the train a bit later. But I really, really, really love this series. It is an age gap romance. Our main character, Miko, is a high school student who her parents, I think, have moved somewhere. I don't remember. And so she moves into a boarding house, an adult boarding house that her uncle owns. He's the landlord and owner of the boarding house. And so she moves there because he has the extra space. Now, her uncle is not present all the time. He's often out on business trips and things, so he is not technically her guardian in a sense because he's not really there overseeing her existence. He's mostly just providing her a space to live, and she is pretty much responsible for her own, existence. She's, I think, 16, and she meets various housemates at this boarding house, all of whom are adults. There's a college student and a few working adults living there, and one of whom is Matsunaga-san. He is, I believe, 28 years old, and he's kind of a grump. He comes off very grumpy and aggressive at first, but he's actually quite caring and motherly in some senses. He's kind of the mother hen of the house. He, like all the characters, is quite gorgeous. They're all very attractive people living in this house. And what I really, really love about this series is they're all like good people. They're all nice people. And there's no real like when she moves in, there's no real like hatred towards her existence for the most part. I think there's a couple people who are more shy than others, but for the most part, they're all adults who are, you know, t- pretty welcoming to this high school girl. I don't know. I'm 26, and if I was living in a house with other adults, and all of a sudden this like 16-year-old girl moved in, I think I'd be pretty annoyed. Um, just because like this is an adult space, and now this like teenagers are like children to me now. Um, they're just so young, and I think I'd be pretty annoyed. And so the fact that all of these adults are just like totally fine with it and are just like, yeah, welcome, we're gonna make you feel welcome, and everything's gonna be great, is a little bit um, shocking to me. But anyway, it's fantasy. So Miko moves into this house. She's, still a student. She's going to school, but while she is a high school student, this story does not focus on high school because the story focuses on the boarding house. And, that is a bit of a change and a welcome change for me because a lot of like shoujo series obviously take place in high schools and focus on that aspect, but this one doesn't. And so it is quite refreshing in that sense. Like I said, all the characters are very likable to me. They're all very individual and just really kind of quirky and different and fun. It makes this scenario seem really desirable. And if I was, you know, I don't know, even now I'm like, I want to live in this like really hip looking house with all of these really nice, attractive people, and they seem to really get along well, and it really kind of romanticizes that lifestyle. Which is fine. This is a fantasy realm, and I'm cool with that. But yeah, there's obviously drama, and a lot of that drama comes from the fact that she understands that he is very much an adult and she is very much not. And so she struggles with, does he like me? And even if he does like me, is it okay that he likes me? Because maybe we shouldn't be, we definitely shouldn't be together because, I'm still a teenager and he's not, and, whatever. There's also some other relationship dynamics going on between the other housemates and whatnot. But I like that this kind of focuses on Miko as a young person trying to find her footing and trying to exist in this um, environment where all of these people to her seem very put together and intelligent and wise and adult, and she feels very like a fish out of water. She feels very young, she feels like a child, she feels like they view her as a child, which they do for the most part, um, and that she's trying to like grow up too fast, uh, because she wants them to see her as an equal, as opposed to someone that they need to take care of. And so yeah, I think it's just themes that, not that I haven't seen these themes done before in manga, because I have, but I think that these are themes that are just slightly different than um, some of the other shoujo manga that's out there. I think that this mangaka is very good at drawing attractive people. I think, regardless of the gender of these individuals, they are all like model level attractive. And yeah, like she's gorgeous. She's one of the other housemates, and yeah, I just think that it's a very entertaining story. It is quite funny. It's also sweet and heartwarming and adorable. Um, I really love the other housemates, as I've mentioned multiple times. I think that we get a glimpse into their lives without it focusing so much on them. As it gets closer to the end of the story, we get a little bit more context and information about some of the other characters. And yeah, this, for the most part, this is just a really cute and sweet age gap romance. um, I like that we get to see a bit about Matsunaga's like job and his career and how passionate he is about it. um, I like that we have the dichotomy between this high school student who, yeah, she's in school and she's studying and all these things, but she has an abundance of time to be able to pine after this man, whereas he is a very busy working adult trying to establish his career. And, he is uh, distressed by the fact that he is having feelings for this girl that he knows he should not have feelings for. Um, but at the same time, he is so busy that he doesn't have as much time to dwell on it as she has to dwell on her side of it. And so you get to see that kind of dichotomy between the two of them and the way that their lives are, and how, obviously, and we're seeing more because the story's set from her perspective, we see more of her pining than his. But, um, that stark reality of he's really busy. He's a working adult. He doesn't have time to just play around with you and, you know, uh, meet every one of your expectations or whims or whatever it is that's going on. And yeah, I just really liked this. I thought it was so entertaining. I was always happy when I got a new volume of it. And I'm glad. I think 11 volumes is a good length for a series like this. Um, Someone did, I can't remember who it was. Somebody made a comment about um, there's a scenario that happens closer to the end in the last couple volumes, and uh, how that scenario could have played out a little earlier in the series as opposed to right at the end, because it did feel a little rushed. And I do have to agree. I think that um, I just feel like this series kind of was like doing its thing. It's pretty lackadaisical, and then all of a sudden in the last couple volumes it was like, oh yeah, we kind of got to wrap all this up and have some conflict happens, have a climax of conflict so that we can resolve it and make this feel more like an ending, where I think it could have, I don't know, I think a lot of those themes could have really been explored earlier in the series and had a bit more of a slow burn resolution, as opposed to like, we need to make a problem so that we can solve it so that we have an ending. But for the most part, I thought that everything that happened should have happened, and I'm glad it did happen. I just wish it had been drawn out a little bit more, backwards. Like the series didn't need to be longer. I just think that those themes could have come up a little bit earlier and been explored a little bit earlier so that it felt less like rushed at the end. But either way, really liked this. Art is amazing. I don't know if this creator has other stuff in English coming out or anything else on the horizon here, but I'd be interested in looking into more because I really, really enjoyed this one. And I highly recommend picking this up if you haven't already. I believe it is also available completely digitally through Kodansha as well. So if you don't have space on your shelves or aren't interested in picking it up physically, you do have some other options. So yeah, if you've read this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you have any recommendations based on the fact that I liked this for other series similar, I would like to hear those as well. Thanks for watching.